Assalamualaikum guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. My name is Firdaus. In today's video, I want to talk about if you're someone who has been stuck in a reality that feels like kind of forever and you don't feel the confidence to do anything or to achieve anything in your life. Today, I really want to discuss why that happens and how you can get out of it. So let's get right into it. The first thing is that the reason why most people are stuck in a life or stuck in a reality is that something has happened to them. Something has happened to you and something has happened to your soul and you're mourning that. Whether if it's abuse, whether if it's neglect, whether if you feel like you never had a childhood or someone has really wronged you in a way and you never really dealt with that pain. You never really dealt with that wound and you never been like, okay, how can I get over this? So what your body is doing is that you're just stuck in mourning because you're unable to move on. How can you move on if you feel like you're mentally bleeding out, like you're spiritually and mentally bleeding out because something wrong has been done to you, you know? And I think this is the meaning, what I mean by this video is that when you are wounded, you need to deal with that wound. And what most people do is they try to avoid that. They try to avoid the pain. They try to avoid looking into what happened to them or looking into their past and coming to terms like, okay, this person has neglected me. This person has abused me. Because when you come to terms with what has happened to you, that is when you'll be able to fix it. That is when you'll be able to solve it, you know? So you can't expect yourself to just simply move on or act like everything is okay when everything is not okay. And it can be really uncomfortable if you're trying to come to terms from what has happened to you. Like imagine, I talked a video about becoming your own parent. If you are a parent and your child has been hurt, you can't tell them to just get up and move on. Obviously, they're going to cry. Obviously, they're going to mourn. Obviously, they're going to talk about what has happened to them for a long while. So you need to let yourself to do that. Let yourself mourn. Let yourself digest what has happened. Let yourself look at what has happened. And then you'll be able to move on from it. And I think the sad thing is that most people, when they are in this phase of mourning and they don't know what is happening to them, they start to attack themselves. They start to blame themselves. Like, what is wrong with me? Can't I just learn? Can't I just improve? Can't I just achieve whatever I want to achieve? You know? So what is happening is that you're treating yourself like the way that you were treated. And that is not really kind. You're not being really kind towards yourself. You cannot try to have a negative interaction with yourself and try to have a positive outcome. It does not work like that. You cannot look at yourself as a bad person and try yourself to change or try yourself to improve. You cannot look at a child and yell at them and tell them that they're never going to achieve anything and expect them to go and have amazing grades at school. Like, it doesn't work like that. That is the first thing, is that if you are stuck, you are more likely mourning what has happened to you. You are more likely mourning your childhood, you know, and you need to address that emotion and you need to look at it instead of attacking yourself or neglecting yourself. That's the first thing. And the second thing that I want to talk about is stop waiting for things to get better. What most people do is when they're stuck in a situation or an abusive person or an abusive partner is that they have this, you can be delusional. I am delusional, but they are delusional in the sense of maybe things will change. Maybe this person will get better. Maybe this person will realize what they did. But I'm here to tell you, sadly, that will not happen. And that will, in fact, it might actually get worse. Because when an abusive person sees that you have no boundaries and you're not going to stand up for yourself, they're simply going to keep testing the boundaries. They're simply going to keep doing the worst things to you unless you, I don't know, die or something like that. So what you should do is say, okay, this happened. How can I move on from this? How can I change this? What actions can I take? Stop waiting and start to take action. Start moving on. Start trying to understand yourself and relive your life. Because I've done research when someone has been neglected and abused. It's usually done by a narcissistic person. Is that what they do is they take away your ability to believe in yourself, your ability to do anything for yourself. They make you think that you are worthless. Because when you make someone believe that they are worthless and they can never achieve anything, and then you will not move on. You will not be able to walk away and realize that this person is abusing you and neglecting you, you know? So it will take time for you to re-believe in yourself. It will take time for you to understand yourself and build this relationship with yourself. You know, because what has happened is that not only you have also done something bad towards yourself, because I think that it's our responsibility to protect ourselves and to take care of ourselves and to have love and positive things around us. So what you did is that you almost neglected yourself, and that's how you don't feel good in yourself. You don't feel good about yourself. And that's how most people, they start to hate themselves when they're in a really bad situation, because you almost feel like, oh, I did this to myself. I allowed this to happen to me, you know? And so I think you need to work on trusting yourself, build that trust with yourself, build that ability to do things for yourself. And that is when you'll finally be able to walk away. Because the thing is that life is not going to get easier. People are not going to treat you better. What you need to do is you need to rebuild yourself. You need to learn, how can I set boundaries? How can I build financial freedom for myself? How can I build a sustainable life for myself? That is your responsibility. That is nobody's responsibility. Anyone can change. Anyone can flip a switch. Anyone can become abusive and demonic the next day. So it's up to you to protect yourself. It's not up to anyone else. If you have any dreams or anything that you want to start doing, immediately start taking actions. And if you're rethinking it and if you have fear, just know that it's just your imposter syndrome speaking. It's you not believing in yourself. And for you to re-believe in yourself is to start taking these small actions. Stop asking yourself, what if this doesn't work out? And ask yourself, what if it does work out? What if I finally change my life? What if I finally break the cycle? What if I'm finally able to help those that I love and take care of them, you know? So yeah, I think this is my intention for this video, is that validate your emotions, but also realize that you cannot sit and stare at your wounds forever. You have to move on. You have to start moving. You have to get out of that cycle. You have to break out of that cycle. I think when you grew up in a really difficult situation or in a really difficult environment, it's not easy for you to look at life as, oh, this is easy. I can do this. I can achieve this. I can actually make this happen, you know? Because maybe it requires for you to take one action. Maybe it requires you to sign up for a job. Maybe it requires you to do one small thing to finally change your life forever. Like, changing your life isn't this as hard and as big as you may think. It's not that difficult. Yes, it's difficult, but living in this life forever and staying stuck is way more painful than actually changing, is way more painful than actually figuring out yourself and figuring out your life. Like, I truly guarantee you that it's not that difficult. As soon as you start taking actions that is aligned with your vision, aligned with your soul, you'll immediately build confidence in yourself. You'll immediately start to understand yourself more, love yourself a little bit more, accept yourself a little bit more, and that is how your life will finally change. It's not that difficult. If you're watching this, I need to let you know that you have so much abilities and you are capable of actually changing your life, but you have to see it. And in order for you to see it, is to start taking action, is to start doing the things that you actually want to do. Stop overthinking. Stop having so much fear, because once you start taking action, you realize like, oh, it's not that hard. I'm not gonna die. Even if it fails, so what? I can learn and keep moving, because you are moving. You're doing what your soul is made for. You came onto this earth to learn and evolve. And once you start doing what you were made to do, you'll feel better about yourself. You'll feel better about life. And you're like, wow, I'm actually interested in participating in my own life and participating in myself. So yeah, if you feel like you're stuck, it is really difficult, but you also have to come to terms like no one is going to save you. Life will not get easier. People are not going to get kinder or nicer. So it really is all up to you. It is only up to you. Life will not get easier unless you make it easier, unless you learn, unless you build the systems and the boundaries that you want for yourself. And yeah, I believe that you can do it. Thank you so much for watching. If you came to this point of this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.